Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. And well, this is a whole new year with a whole new slew of opportunities that lie ahead of me at this very point. And currently, it is January 4th of 2022. So, I went ahead and took a few days off and was also able to get a lot of other work done during this time, but now it's time to get back onto this. Especially because this one's going to be a bit of a breeze here. This next week that's going to be put together is going to be worth a lot of HJN episodes. And believe it or not, we are going to have one last crossover series for this very season. And it might just be so big that it'll potentially end the whole season altogether on its own. So until that happens, we have number 983, which we'll be talking specifically about continuities. And with that in mind, let's get on going with this. Continuities are small periods in history that provide a natural continuation towards a certain specific franchise. And we've seen a lot of things happen with pop culture over the last 35 years or so. Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, has had several different distinct eras throughout history. There, of course, were the first few games released on the Sega Genesis, and then with others that would be released on various other Sega consoles like the Saturn and the Dreamcast, up until the start of the 2000s, when the Dreamcast was not necessarily getting a lot of high expectations put together and was not really meeting as many standards as Sega would have hoped for. So unfortunately, by 2003, it was when Sega pretty much dropped their opportunity to make more game consoles for the rest of this entire generation. Even to this day, they still are specifically just a developer. But even as its own sort of company, which is in fact somehow bound towards Nintendo consoles, it does seem that even outside of Nintendo's reign, Sega does continue to provide a huge array of entertainment, left and right. And I could sure go on for hours about Sega as a whole, but I've already made an entire video based off of that on its own terms. So we're mostly talking about continuities as a whole. Sonic has had a lot of continuities though since the Sega game consoles list has pretty much expired. Sonic X in 2003 and 2006, which was an anime series. And then, of course, with the rest of the 2000s, with the X continuities I refer to it, which of course started with Sonic X in 2003 and worked its way up until around 2010. When 2010 and onwards, up until around last year pretty much, we would actually get to see the Smith continuity, as I've come to call it. Because Roger Craig Smith had been the voice of Sonic throughout that whole entire decade. And a lot of people were not very into it, so to speak. But it's pretty much alright, because now that Smith actually had retired last year, it's important to know now that we're actually in a whole new continuity, which actually began in 2020. With the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action feature films. So you know what? This is a whole new continuity that we're having. Ben Schwartz is the voice of Sonic, Jim Carrey is Eggman, and then we have many other characters that are also being played by various well-known actors that we've had throughout this whole generation. So you know what? The 2020s are going to be a big time for Sonic the Hedgehog now. Because, to tell you the truth, I mean, who even knows how much better the franchise itself could be? The same thing could probably be said with the Transformers, so to speak. They started with G1, then G2, then Beast Wars, then pretty much the rest of Gary Chalk's sort of voice performance throughout the cartoons like Armada, Energon, and then Cybertron in 2005. And then beginning in 2007 up until around 2018, where the latest film pretty much had something to do with the director Michael Bay. The Bayverse of Transformers films, as it was called, was basically what many people claimed to be a success. But deep down, these films only were good because so many people got dragged into the theaters for them. Spending billions of dollars, pretty much, doesn't seem like the whole way to go here. But then, of course, with the most recent continuities that we have here, The Power of the Spark, for example, where you literally have actor Jake Fushi, who once did a voice impression on Optimus Prime years ago, but has since become the official voice actor for Optimus Prime. Like, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Someone does a well-known voice impression on YouTube several years ago, but then becomes the voice actor for Optimus. Like, that's impressive, actually. That'd be like if I were to pull off a really good Cleveland Brown impression, and then all of a sudden Seth MacFarlane were to go hire me to be the new voice for Cleveland Brown. Assuming if that's actually going to be a thing from this point on, considering how Family Guy sucks incredibly. I mean, I can't really imagine that actually happening though, so at this point I'm just going to leave it well enough alone. But in any case, continuities are pretty much all over the place. Because how else are you going to try and continue a franchise? Sonic the Hedgehog and Transformers are only just a sampling of the millions of franchises that we've had over the years become very popular overnight, and then they stick around all the way here to the present. And chances are, though, we're going to be seeing a lot more media with these different franchises of all sorts, not just Sonic the Hedgehog and Transformers, but also Toy Story, Ghostbusters, Jaws, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and hundreds of others. I mean, the list could go on and on and on about all that, but at this point in time, I'll probably just say it's a really good time to be alive. And here in 2022, I sure know things are only going to get better from here on out. After a horrible time that we've had to go through this whole last year, I mean, a lot of people are actually assuming it's only going to get worse. But I know for sure that things will turn up. And they will turn out better than ever. And there's just a lot of good news on that to help back that up. In case you want to go look anything up on that, then well, that's your call. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.